Hey there! So today we have another super exciting topic, and no further ado, let's just dive in. So today's topic is about dust and spot removal. So this is something super short and sweet, but on the other hand, super important one that I think like every photographer should consider. But once you know it, you start to notice those little details here. So no further ado, let's just dive in. So in the end of the day, when your camera lens is not clean, then you just end up by having those dust specks and smudges all over the place, and you can spend forever cleaning it up on Lightroom. So to avoid these ones and to avoid wasting your life there, so we have a few tricks and tips here. So as you can see, for example, on this photo here, we have those camera sensor dust specks. So this one, this one is not a black pepper for sure. This is like a clear dust specks, and once you know about these ones, then you start to notice it, especially when you shoot something like, for example, blue sky or white background. Then you see like, oh, what is this one? But they are usually inside the camera, those dust specks. Sometimes they are on the lens, but on the other hand, quite often when you clean your lens and you can still see them always on the same spot, then it usually means that they are on the camera sensor. So let's talk about camera sensor dust. So sensor inside the camera is not clean. That means that the dust or dirt might be on the camera mirror, especially when you're shooting with a mirror camera, and lens exterior elements or camera sensor. So this one is like a super delicate thing to clean up. So if you're a beginner photographer or starting out with photography, I would not even recommend to clean the mirror by yourself, and I would recommend you to have a professional to clean this one, because it's a super delicate job, and you might like ruin your camera, so you don't want to like end up this one. So quite often I would highly recommend you to go to the professional, go to the camera shop and let it cleaned up. So here's another example. You can see like this one here has a camera sensor dust for sure, and this one is, it's not a background, it's not a food prop or something. This one was clearly on the camera sensor for my on my camera. How to spot those dust specks? So for this one, you can use Adobe Lightroom to spot dust specks on your camera sensor. So here you can see I made a white photo and then I uploaded this one to Adobe Lightroom, and I saw how dirty my camera was. I know this is a little bit embarrassing, but that's what happens when you work a lot with your cameras and you work a lot with your gear, and things just get dirty, especially when you go outside like shooting for some kind of thing where it's like a lot of dust and everything, and then you change your lenses, and these things just happen, and it's okay, but we just have to know about these ones and we just have to clean it up. So how to know if your camera sensor inside the camera is dirty? First of all, we take a sip of coffee, obviously. No, actually what you have to do is that you have to set your camera on manual mode or aperture priority, turn off autofocus and set your lens on manual focus, settings ISO 100 and aperture 16. So once your settings are done, then the next step is that you take a photo of you take a blank image from white wall or clear blue sky. And this is the perfect test to test out your camera sensor, if it has dust or if it has not dust. And you just take a photo of the white wall or clear blue sky. And then you go to your Adobe Lightroom spot removal tool. You press this one, you visualize the spots, and obviously spot removal is here, as you all know, and then you visualize the spot removal tool. So after this one, you can look if the dust appears in the same spot. You don't see the sensor dust through the viewfinder, and you can see the spots on the image. So if you look through your viewfinder, then obviously like the photo looks beautiful. But when you have done the photo, then what happens is that you have dust on your sensor, and then some spots might be only visible in 100% zoom. But for example, on this camera sensor, yeah, this was super dirty in my case. Like it was like really dirty in my case, like especially like this one here. So it's like obvious I needed to clean my camera sensor, no questions asked. And then again, you can see, you can let a professional or in your local photography shop clean the camera sensor. And I also like highly recommend this one because it's like a little bit delicate job, and you don't wanna break your camera in general, and mirrors inside the camera are super delicate. So if you don't know how to do it, then don't do it yourself. Like let a professional do it, and then maybe you can learn with them or something so that you can easily clean it yourself later. But on the other hand, like I remember, like yeah, I usually let the professional do it because yeah, I don't want to risk losing my precious camera, because in the end of the day you spend like, I don't know, 10 euros, 20 euros to clean it there, but your camera costs 3k. So it's like, yeah, it's completely reasonable to let it clean when you don't know how to clean it, or if you don't have professional next to you who can help you with this one. Dust and my solutions. So always, first of all, carry a camera cleaning cloth and clean your camera sensor when needed. So one thing is like the cleaning cloth, that you clean your lenses outside to make sure that it's clean. Especially I personally have it already in my like routine. Like before I start shooting something, I clean my sens, I prepare the scene, and this is part of my preparing the scene routine. Basically, I highly recommend you to start with this one as well. You clean your lens in front, and then again, like if you have camera sensor dust, then I would highly recommend you to go to the professional and let the camera sensor and especially the mirror clean by them. Or yeah, if you already know about this one, then you don't have to worry about it. But this topic was one of the things that for me at first, when I started out, I didn't even notice this one. And then I had one professional photographer next to me, and then he was like, okay, you should clean your camera sensor. I was like, what should I do, huh, what? But anyways, then he explained me this one, and then he showed me like the whole setup and how to make sure you have dust in your camera sensor. And then like after this one, I started to notice a lot on my photos as well that I have something on my camera sensor. And yeah, once you know about this one, then you start to notice this one on your photos as well. So I hope this was super useful. Thank you for watching. I hope this was useful, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.